Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt podcast. Tonight, Starmer, Mahmood. Is it all too little too late? We're reacting to what they've said in Parliament in the last hour. And have we as a nation already lost the illegal migration war? Let's have your views. So much to talk about. It's a serious conversation about where this country, the United Kingdom, is heading. Because today, we saw something we were told would never happen under Labour. A Home Secretary, Shameen, whatever her name is, arriving in the Commons with a migration plan that looks, depending on who you ask and your own political persuasion, either desperate, confused, or just simply far too late. Shabana Mahmood has put forward a plan, and she made us wait all day for it because she wanted to hit the 6 o'clock news and not have any real debate on the TV. I know the game these people play, but she stood up today, Mahmood, and announced, it's got to be fair to say, some of the toughest asylum measures against illegal migrants Labour's ever proposed. And some of them, I'm going to be fair, I think are steps in the right direction. Baby steps, but steps. Temporary protection instead of settlement, that's important. A 20-year wait for citizenship, who wants to wait that long? Visa bans, and even, and this is the one you won't like, they're proposing giving payments to failed illegals, asylum applicants, to get them to leave the country. Now, in Denmark, which is where this is modelled, they can pay up to 24 grand. In our country at the moment, we pay up to 3,000. You got to weigh that up against what it will cost to keep them here or keep going through the legal system, etc., etc. But I don't think I'd be happy at 24 grand. Would you? And also, you've got to recall that these are illegal. And the thing that she got missed completely today, we've got to stop them getting here in the first place. No more flip-flop warriors. We need, how many more times? Army on the beach, Navy in the Channel. I didn't hear anything about that. They started from a premise, they're coming and they're going to continue coming. That's not where I would have started. Shabana Mahmood, what about you? And so after all this noise, all the drama, all the delays today, and all the promises, I just think what she said in the end sounded like Reform UK lite, spelt Lite. It was Nigel Farage without the bollocks, wasn't it? It feels like a government trying to look tough after months of insisting that toughness was inhumane and against people's human rights. But it feels like a government, again, reacting, not leading. It feels a bit like this is Starmer's last desperate throw of the dice. Do you agree with me? I mean, look at that demonstration. On Sunday outside Crowborough. People do not want these people in the country. Full stop. And it's a tinderbox at the moment in the United Kingdom. People don't want them in army camps. They just don't want them here because they're illegal. What we do want to do is give sanctuary to genuine asylum seekers. And again, what I thought came over today in the whole, because she leaked everything. There were more leaks than a Max Boyce reunion concert, wasn't there? But the bottom line is it's been leaked all over the weekend. And everybody starts from the point of view they're going to come. Well, I say no to that. And they also start from the point of view that most of them are refugees. They're not. 96% of them are economic migrants, and they're young men of fighting age. Why won't the politicians just admit that? They're taking us for mugs. Meanwhile, our daughters, our wives, our children, our mums are being raped and sexually assaulted by some, obviously not all, some of these foul people we've let into our country. And we don't know who they are. As I keep saying, could Starmer ever tell us who's in each dinghy? No. He could give us a description, designer tracksuit, life jacket, flip-flops. He could do all that, mobile phone, brand new, but he couldn't give us a name. There is one good thing that she came up with today. They want to use AI to ascertain the age and the backgrounds of those people. That's not a bad idea, although the Human Rights Brigade will be up on that. Also, will they actually get this through? Not just the Commons, but get it through their own party. Already, 17 Labour MPs, including the MP for Folkestone, right? He's got a 4,000 majority. I thought he was a nutcase. This morning he starts saying things like, it's inhumane and it's wrong and da-da. Then I looked up his background. Guess what his job was before he became an MP? Human rights lawyer. He's a barrister. So he's just thinking, oh, well, I'm going to be out of a job in a few years' time. I better make sure there's still some ready income. Or I apologise if I'm being too cynical. That's the problem with Parliament at the moment. Too many of them are lawyers, ex-social workers, teachers, nobody with real experience of the real world. So that's my kind of view on it. I think there were some good things there. I thought Kemi was good when she reacted to it and she said, look, we messed up. I'm quite willing to work with you on this. She also had a few jibes, a bit of bitchiness in there, saying she thought it was good, but it didn't go far enough, etc., etc. And it doesn't. Because unless we leave the ECHR, Kemi Belark is right, none of this will happen. However, she offered to work with Shabana Mahmood. And Shabana Mahmood reacted after hearing Kemi. She reacted like they always do in Parliament. You know, oh, I'm Labour, you're Conservative, never will the twine meet. And then she went into a diatribe about how the Conservatives hadn't done anything. Well, we all know that. They were useless. But surely now, at this moment in time, as you know, I've been calling for a state of emergency. So I want our political parties to work together. I don't want the pettiness of Parliament. What about you? So then it comes down to the bottom line is, I think the whole of this was Starmer throwing the dice because he knows he's out. He's finished. And if he goes, there was a poll, not a poll, a study today, the majority of the Labour cabinet as it stands now would lose their seats. It would be a complete walkover for reform. I would imagine Nigel's just sitting back and letting all this hit the fan. But here's the real question. If you've got a view on any of this, please write it up in the comments. Please smash the like button. So here's some questions for you. Has Keir Starmer and Labour already lost the illegal migration war? I think so. Because the crossings are still rising. The removals are tiny, one out, 60 million in. And it's an exaggeration. And the one thing Britain actually needs, a proper, fast, reliable return system, i.e. as soon as your flip-flop hits the beach, you're deported. It doesn't exist, and it won't exist after this either. But perhaps the biggest shock of all this, of this new idea, is how she actually said they would be willing to pay illegal migrants and their families to go home. She said a good thing about how to redefine the family so they won't be bringing loads of people with them. But it sticks in my gullet. I meant, because don't forget, I've been talking about Denmark for 3 or 4 days. I've been ahead of this story. I've looked at what Denmark do. And you reacted to me and said, I don't want to pay him anything, John. And if that's your view tonight, I want to hear it. I don't know how we get rid of them if we don't pay something, but I don't want to be paying 20, 30,000 pounds to get rid of these criminals, these illegals who have got into our country. And what I wanted to hear today was, how are you going to stop them coming? Over 1,000 came in the last 2 days. How do we stop it? Because if you don't cut off the flow, we can't move forward. And all of this, of course, costing thousands and thousands of pounds to send them home at a time when British families like yours and mine can't afford food, rent, or heating. So do you think the British public are going to accept this? I don't think they are. What do you make of this announcement? Is it time to say enough is enough? Let's leave the ECHR. Let's get really tough. And who cares about human rights? I'm going to break down the announcement, the political fallout, and what it means for the future of our great country. Stay with me. Get your comments in early, because tonight I'm not going to hold back, and I don't want you to either. Let's have your opinions. This is the Jon Gaunt Show. It's, of course, on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. Make sure you join my YouTube channel. It's free to subscribe. It's called Jon Gaunt TV, Jon Gaunt TV, and you'll find it on YouTube. Do that. Please join me, and because that'll put it says subscribe now. Press the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps my numbers. If you'd like to donate some cash, that'd be great. Just click the $ on the screen now, just underneath the screen, and donate a few quid if you can. It all helps to keep this independent broadcasting going. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com. I wasn't here yesterday. I was going to do a show on Sunday, an extra one. I did one Saturday. Do you know what? I was so fed up of everything yesterday. I couldn't motivate myself. I just couldn't motivate myself to do it. And I'm a pretty genuine guy. I can't just put it on and pretend everything's great. Curse 1064. I can't stand listening to Shabana Mahmood. So thanks for reviewing what was announced, so I don't have to watch it or listen to her. That's on YouTube. And Curse 1064 has donated £10 by clicking the little $. Curse, you're a superstar. Thank you very much indeed. If you want to donate, I've just told you how to do it. If you want to join in and just make a comment, we'll take those as well, please. Let's get talking. Do you think the new Labour plan on small boats is strong, weak as piss, or too little too late? I think it's too little too late. And I would say that if it was Conservatives saying it. And the big question, should Britain be paying illegal migrants, criminals, cash to go home? Yes or no? Let's get started. Jake Moulton Brown. Evening, Gaunty. They're just offering a reform lite, L-I-T-E, option. Yes, Jake, I agree with you. I guarantee that they either won't implement it, or if they do, it'll be the weakest policies / procedures possible. There will be lots of hidden clauses. I'm disgusted with the idea of paying them to leave. Well, until a few days ago, I didn't realize we do that already, Jake, and we do. And in Denmark, it's up to 24 grand. Let's talk about that. Because we've got to, it's no good just saying, I ain't paying them, chuck them out. Because that won't work. That won't work. And that's why I'm saying, let's not condemn this completely. Because it is the right baby steps in the right direction at last. The thing that's missing, of course, is how do we stop the flip-flops hitting the sand? Your views, please. Zamira USA has put a couple of claps. Doesn't really work in terms of me saying it, but that's what he's done. Alien Intelligence Agency says the time for compassion is over. I don't think, and then he goes on to say charity starts at home. I agree with both of those comments. However, we should always be there for people who are genuinely fleeing persecution. But we all know that when we're not in La La Land of Westminster, the majority are not doing that. But I'm glad we did what we did. Even if we go all the way back to the cliche of the Ugandan Asians, we talk about Hong Kong, we talk about Ukraine. I'm glad that we're there to help. I mean, years ago, the Jews, the Huguenots, that's what Britain does, because Britain is a tolerant, charitable, compassionate country. But these politicians on all the parties have turned us in to the World Health Service and the benefit system for the world. Well, I've had enough. I want us to get tough and get as tough as Denmark, Australia, the United States of America. Don't forget, Denmark have reduced it by 90%. But we've got to beef up security and not let people get in the first place. Got a comment? Let's hear it. Come on, let's crack on. Den Spinks, I agree that the Navy and the Army is the ultimate deterrent, but the government worry that one of them might get hurt. I think that's a fair point. Alien intelligence agencies back on again. Stop benefits for non-British people. Yeah, but that's a bit like saying don't put them in hotels, don't put them in army camps. You can't have them on the street. Have you looked recently at Park Lane? You must have seen it on the telly. They're all there in their tents. That's happening in other places. Happening in Leamington Spa, where I used to live. People were living in tents in the woods. I don't want that either, because that'll obviously lead to crime and everything else. Are you with me or against me? Terry Wheatley, nor do the Labour left. Perhaps they should ask their constituents. They're blinded by the light. I think you're absolutely right. All of these people today, that woman who I cannot bear, her name will come back to me in a moment. She's one of these middle-class liberal feministas. But she makes out like holier than thou. What's her name? Stella Creasy. I think that's the name. She's saying this is inhumane. I didn't hear anything today that was inhumane. I thought it was all very humane. But British people have got to come first, haven't they? What do you think? What's this say here? One gift. I don't know what a gift is. Oh, I see. Mick O'Donoghue says, gifted one Jon Gaunt TV membership. You've just joined me on YouTube. Thank you, my friend. Everyone helps. Every penny helps. Hi, John. I totally agree with you about AI and the human rights lawyers. Yeah, you see, this is the first time they've actually said, well, we could use AI. This hopefully would stop this nonsense where there's kids in school saying, yeah, I'm 12, and they've got a full beard. Yeah, that's got to be stopped because that's dangerous. But also what's got to happen is, do you know at the moment they don't have to have a medical? If they don't want to have a medical, they don't have to have one. So you don't know what disease. Again, I'm not saying they're all bringing in disease. What country in the world would behave like that? If you wanted to go and emigrate to Australia, it's a full medical. Look at what Donald Trump's proposing if you want to go to the States. And if you're fat like me, you're not going to get in. You're going to have to go through some hoops. Fair enough. He's protecting his people. Why don't we do that? Everybody who arrives, if they arrive, but I would hopefully stop that very quickly, they should have a full medical and we should do the AI on them so we know how old they are. And we need to know if they've got a criminal record. That dreadful case I talked about the other day in Oxford, of the 14, was he 14 or 15, where he raped her, sexually abused her. An Egyptian, I think he was. But he had a string of convictions from all across Europe as he travelled to our country. And that's one of the good things about their proposal today. They're trying to get rid of this buffet idea. Oh, we'll just go across Europe and we'll see which country looks after us the best. And of course, guess who it is? It's Britain. Mugs are us. I don't know who's organising the rewards. It must be Bullseye. What do you reckon? Jim Bowen's back. Who's going to get the speedboat? That's what I want to know. Maggie Young. Where was the Prime Minister today? Oh, Maggie. Silly woman. He was hiding. He's still in his bunker. Do you know why he's hiding? I think 2 days' time, he's off to the G, whatever number it is now. He's off to another foreign jaunt. He's scared. He's bricking himself. He knows he's finished. And in a way, today was the white flag going up, wasn't he? He has now stolen all of Reform's ideas and the Tories because he's wrong. I thought he said he was going to smash the gangs, as I've said so many times. He couldn't smash an egg or his avocado for his toast. The guy is a wimp, an absolute wimp, and we need him out. but there were some positive things in it. And I quite like her. I didn't like her at first. I don't like her voice. Shabana, whatever her name is, Mahmood. But she does talk a tough game. And that's better than being a win. Better than who we had before, Yvette Cooper. Huh? Mind you, she's now in charge. What's she in charge of now? Is it the Home Office? I can't remember. Oh, she's the Foreign Secretary. Don't get too excited. It might be Lammy next. We elected Trump to send them all home, says Patrick Coolman. I presume you're in the States. Thank you, Patrick, for your comments. He doesn't mess about, does he? I take my hat off to you all I take my hat off to you for all that you do for us. They are illegal immigrants, says Buster Edwards. There's a big divide going on at grassroots. You can just see why people will not care, but will do things that the police should be doing, as they're a waste of time. Why have them? Or are they just there as Labour boot boys and girls? I mean, did you see that story today? Where they arrested a couple for what they'd said on their parents' teachers' WhatsApp group. What is going, and ended up shelling out 20 grand in compo, which I don't agree with either, but there we are. Well, to a lawless country, this will happen because of Starmer in capitals. Good luck to you and take care, says Buster Edwards. Thank you, Buster. Good name. I'm sure it's not your real name, but it's a good name to use. Richie, 709 on YouTube. Mass immigration is a deliberate act. You can stop the boats tomorrow. There's 20 miles of water between us and France, but Britain wants us close to 100 million population by 2050 to compete as a global power. I'm not sure I totally agree with you. I certainly think that was the idea before, that cheap labour would actually fuel our economy. And that was both the Tories and indeed Labour. So I think you're right there, partly. But I don't know, man. I really do not know what the hell we're going to do. Like I say, yesterday I was so fed up with it, I couldn't see a way through. But at least today I'm thinking, well, I know it's cynical. I know it's bullshit. I know why they're doing it. He's desperate to try and keep his job. Well, he's got no chance, has he? But it's better that we're going to try and go in this direction. But then you look at the Labour backbenchers. I would say they're almost traitors. They can't be representing what their constituents think. Like the one I told you about earlier, not in Felixstowe, in next to Dover. I just said it a minute ago. I've forgotten the name now. Anyway, wherever it was, begins with an F, seaside town. He's got a 4,000 majority. He hasn't got a hope in hell of getting elected again. But you see, that's the other problem. I think we're almost at kamikaze politics time. They know they've got 3 or 4 years living high on the hog, and then they're out. They're finished. They're not going to get re-elected. No point even canvassing unless things change. Can you see that happening? I think I might win Slimmer of the Year before that happened. This one says 12DX6Y. Hello, John. There's no H in my name, but apart from that, thank you. John, I think that Starmer's immigration plan with France was already dead. The first person just arrived back here. Yeah, he did. One out, one in. You're right, Craig. Didn't work. And he's kind of admitted that today, hasn't he? This problem is so simple. Excuse me. Pick them up and take them back. Simple. Everything else is just smoke and mirrors. I've got to agree, David. I've got to agree with what you're saying now. Thank you. Oh, here's Curse. Oh, yeah, Curse 1064, who donated a tenner. He said he was willing to give me a tenner because he can't stand listening to Shabana Mahmood, but now he knows what's happened. Thank you for that. Thank you for your very generous contribution. If you'd like to donate, could be a couple of quid, could be a tenner, could be a quid, could be whatever you want. Just click the little $sign and send me a few pound, please. Or go to the coffee, because it's last day for coffee tomorrow. So if you want to go to the coffee and buy me a cup of coffee or a beer, www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. Lots of different ways you can do it. You can also give me stars on Facebook. You can subscribe to, subscribe is free to my YouTube channel, Jon Gaunt TV. But if you want to become a member, I think it's $1.99 a month or something, or $2.99. It's cheap as chips. So have a look into that as well. It all helps. So thank you very much. There's talk of building a city, says Den Spinks, with homes for 1 million people. But by the time they finish that, if they ever did, there'd be 3 million people needed it the way things are going. Don't start using logic, Den. The politicians will hate you, but you're absolutely bang on the money. And that's the bottom line. This is all unsustainable, isn't it? It's all unsustainable. You can't keep letting people in. Side issue, BBC. Why don't they just now apologise even more to Trump? Because if they spend a penny of our money on giving it to him because they were too pig-headed to stand down properly and apologise properly, well, it's the end of them anyway, isn't it? How they can't justify a licence fee after all that, can they? Pam Millett, I don't want to pay them anything. She's talking about paying the illegal immigrants. It's a massive encouragement for all to come here and get money. Absolutely ridiculous idea. Pam's not sitting on the fence, but sounds about right for our government, John, that wants to bankrupt our country. Oh, Pam, you've got your gander up today. Thank you very much indeed for your comment. Absolutely brilliant. Jim Garfield, he's a regular to the show. He's also a regular contributor. He's just put another £10 into my very large hat. Thank you, Jim. Sadly, John, it's all pie in the sky. A reaction to Reform UK. But Labour MPs won't follow through. I bet some of them are following through at the moment, if you know what I mean. We'd all welcome genuine people fleeing persecution. Of course we would. We're British. That's what we do. But Europe's patience is now being tested severely. Well said, Jim. Bang on the money. You know, and this is why I hate the Liberals, when they make out that we're fascist because we say, no, we can't take everybody in. It's like this nonsense with the BBC. Have you seen what all these lefties are saying? If you think that Trump is right, that he has been, he's the maligned one, therefore he deserves to win any case, and probably Compo as well. I mean, the bigger man, he would say, yeah, I've won it. You've got to give me $5 billion. But do you know what? I'm going to give it to the starving children of Africa, or I don't want it. I'm going to give it to GB News, or whatever. I just don't want it. I just wanted to prove the point. But no. The lefties think because they've got Trump derangement syndrome, they hate Trump. So that even though it's clear as anything that the BBC are in the wrong, they won't admit that. And these people call themselves progressive. They're as thick as pig shit. And they're bigoted. And then they have the temerity to call us fascists. Gammon. Thick. Us. Like when we voted for Brexit. They lost. We won. But somehow we're wrong. Well, that's snivelling little shit Terry Christian. Yeah? Huh? Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. I've gone off on one, sorry. Jackie Ward, one of me regulars. I don't have a problem paying them to leave within reason. I think that's where I come from, Jackie. I'm going to take a pragmatic view of it because it's going to cost us more to keep them here. But until we have sent back a significant number, there will still not be a deterrent. It's too little, too late, as you say. Thank you, Jackie. Does anybody know how much it costs to keep them for a week? I know the price of the hotels is something like $7 million a day. If somebody knows, do your research and tell me. I've forgotten. But that's why I'm saying if we can get rid of them that way, maybe that's what we're going to have to do. Bite the bullet. It doesn't sit right with me. But then again, you see, if we know there's 24,000 already in the country, or whatever the ridiculous number is, we've got to say there won't be one more, not one single more. Because if you turn up, the army's on the beach, the navy's in the channel, we're going to get you and chuck you straight back onto a boat, humanely, put new clothes on, maybe just give you flip-flops a wash down, make sure your mobile phone's not broken, then we're going to put you on a boat and take you back. That's what we've got to start doing. And that to the ECHR, with me or against me. Come on, let's have your views. Diane Holcroft, never say never, but never believe a Muslim. They will lie to advance and protect their first priority in life, which is Islam. Diane, I know where that thought comes from, but you're wrong. You're wrong, because you can't say all Muslims are the same, because they're not. Just like all Christians aren't the same. Just like Roman Catholics, they didn't all play Vatican roulette. Some of them were using condoms. See what I'm saying, Diane? You got to be careful. You got to be a bit careful with that kind of thing. If you don't mind me saying. I'm not having a go at you. I'm just saying what I feel. Janet Highton, yes, enough is enough. We can't put up with many more people coming here. I don't think her rules are going to do enough. Well, that's really where I'm coming from. Mahmood's starting in the right place, but not going far enough. We need to stop them all now. No cash to encourage them. It's disgusting. We are skint. Janet, I cannot argue with that, can I? Deacon Play 2 Knit. Hello. Was that all you're going to say? Hello. The proof of the pudding will be in the eating. How many migrants will they deport before the general election? They ain't going to get through to the general election, are they? Surely not. Deacon Plays Ed says, you're cool. It's you are cool. So it should be YOU apostrophe RE, but never mind. Richard Pope from Coventry, one of my regulars. Definitely too little too late, John. They will only try and get back over here again after more cash. Well, you know what, Richard? It's interesting you say that, because that hokey cokey guy, who they've christened him, didn't they, on GB News, there's been more than one person doing that we've booted out and they come back. But then we put people in prison and let them out, don't we? I mean, it's just mad. What's going on is completely mad. And today, when Kemi Badenoch said, look, I'd like to work together with you. And when then Mahmood basically said, up yours, I thought, oh, here we go again. And then she goes into the whole thing about 14 years, you didn't do this, you didn't do... Look, we have got to move on as a country. We're talking about the very future of our country. Can you please work together for the good of the country? Mick O'Donnell gifted one Jon Gaunt TV membership. I don't know how you do that, but thank you for doing it. I suppose you just go to Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube, and there must be a thing there where you do it. Anybody else want to do that? It'd be very nice of you. Thank you. Where are we going next? Let's go to They Are On Dinghies Already, says Den Spinks. I don't know what that means, but thank you. How can Stella Creasy MP, that's the one I was talking about earlier, say that anything is inhumane when earlier this year she tried to ballot a law for full-term abortions? Yeah, she's one of these nutcases who thinks there should be no... What's it at the moment, 24 weeks? She thinks, yeah, right up to full term, it's all right to abort a child. I think that's what she thinks. Disgusting. Absolutely filthy disgusting. Taxi driver 2107 just tuned in. Well, we've been waiting for you. Where you been? Thank you, taxi driver. Good to have you on board. I'm only taking the piss. Denise Deacon, she's one of my regulars. I read that TB is on the rise. It is. And I can't help wondering, why is that? Well, obvious. You can say it. We eradicated many of these diseases, but they've brought it back in. That doesn't mean, again, just so we don't get into any trouble, not every illegal migrant criminal has got TB, but undoubtedly it's been a rise. It's also because a lot of the guys are living 4 to a bedroom, and that's how it spreads. We eradicated these things. Not only do we not know the illegal immigrants' backgrounds, we don't know their medical history. That's what I've just been saying, Denise. You're right. Personally, I don't think the backbenchers will allow Mahmood's new policies to come to fruition. Well, that's what worries me. This is why, Denise, I just said this thing about they're almost on a kamikaze mission. So it's kind of like death or glory. Some of them, they know they're not going to get elected again, so maybe they'll just be arsey bastards now. But that's a technical term, for the next 3 or 4 years, or as long as we allow them to stay in government. I think that's true. But I was going to totally slag off Mahmood before she made a speech. But I think there's some positivity in there. So I'm trying to be fair. I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying to be fair. Where are we going next? We're going to Jim, one of my biggest donators. Sadly, John, he just donated 10. I told you that earlier. Sadly, John, it's all pie in the sky. Our reaction to reform. but Labour MPs won't follow through. No, that's what I made that joke, was it? We'd all welcome genuine people fleeing persecution, but Europe's patience is now being tested severely. Well, you say that, Jim, but other European countries are saying, yeah, so up yours. We ain't doing this. We're not playing this game anymore. That's what Denmark's saying. We're not playing this game anymore. That's what Poland has said. It's what Hungary has done. We're not having it anymore. Even Germany now aren't having it. Oh, Greece is another great example. You come to our islands, our beautiful Greek islands, we're going to send you to prison. Or we're going to deport you straight away. So all across Europe. Oh, Italy's another prime example. She's as tough as anything, isn't she? Old Giorgio, what's her name? Giorgio Meloni. She ain't taking no prisoners. Well, she's putting them in prison. She ain't having it. It's only us Brits who are stupid enough to listen to the rules. Last week I was on a bus. This is Taxi Driver 2107. Last week I was on a bus coming home and an elderly lady got on and this cheeky migrant pushed in front of her and took the only available seat. How very rude. Did you get up and give him a slap? You should have done. Or you should have told him, listen, that's not how we do things here, mate. Embarrassed him. I know, though, you've got to be careful. I do understand that. Too many examples of this. Terry Wheatley, Facebook. Hello, Terry. I think the final act of You Couldn't Make It Up, the agency workers covering the bin strike are now going to go on strike. Labour and the TUC, really. Terry, that's a brilliant comment. Just for people who don't know, we've got the bin strike in Birmingham. Been going. You won't have seen it because it's kind of been a news blackout. They don't even talk about it on Midlands Today, right? They got rats the size of cats now. But anyway, yeah, the independent people they brought in, but we used to call these people scabs, who have come in to do the bins instead of the unionised workers. They're now going on strike. Literally, you couldn't make it up. Then Terry's got a bit of clarification. He said, sorry, I mean the Birmingham bin strike. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. Anybody else want to contribute? Come on, press the little dollar sign. Donate a $5 or a $10, or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt and donate whatever you can afford. Because this has got some money now coming in from adverts, but it's a trickle. Where we really need is your donations. I'm going to get a sponsor soon, but I haven't got one yet. Shabana's statement is about as useful as trying to keep the Titanic afloat using buckets, says Mark Howard, 1992, and that's on YouTube. I think that's a nice one. I like that. I'll nick that. Den Spinks. Great show, John. You've got great taste, Den. Thank you very much. You can't turn around in the street without finding some non-English speaking person behind you. Careful with that kind of language. Nigel Farage got into trouble for saying that once, didn't he? I don't mind people speaking different languages. I just think you've got to definitely learn the language as well here, and you've got to be able to read it and write it within a set period of time. But how much money do we spend on translators? That's the bit that annoys me. When we get one of these flip-flop warriors, he rapes a young woman in this country, and then you read the case against him, and they said he was helped by an Eritrean interpreter. We're paying for interpreters for rapists. Unbelievable. Buster Edwards is back. Starmer is a complete waste of time. Tell me something I didn't know. We should not be paying any immigrants one red penny. They came here for nothing, so they can go back for nothing. But how? How? And what if they say no? There was a thing today about the 700 Albanian families. Sounds like the Sylvanian families. My daughter used to have those little... Anyway, I digress. But Albanian families, that although they've lost the right to stay here, they just haven't gone. So how do you get rid of them? Do you do what Trump's doing? Send in the special forces, chuck them in the back of the paddy wagon and get them out of the country? Are we tough enough? Are we hard enough to do that in this country? I don't know. But if they won't go, Buster, maybe give them a few grand, get rid of them is the best idea. I'm not saying it is. I'm just putting it forward. It costs $8 million a day to keep them here. No, that's just the money for the hotels. We need the money for our families, says Buster. Well, I'd agree with that. There are many Muslims that need to go back. They will not mix with others. And sadly, a lot of them are very racist. By the way, not every one of the migrants is a Muslim, but I take your point. Luton is a hotbed of this action, and Bradford, Wolverhampton, London in particular. Take care, John, says Buster. Thank you, Buster. I know a lot about Luton, of course, because I worked there for 8 years. What's this one? This is somebody picking up on the Stella Creasy line. Abortion should only be done if the child is deformed. I think you mean disabled. Oh, you said disabled next. And with no quality of life. The only thing I'd say about that taxi driver 2107, who decides on quality of life is what I'd say. And also, I used to be very hard on abortion. I was very anti it. I'm not so much now. In the end, I think it's down to the woman. I do think we have to consider the unborn child as well. But, hey, that's for another show, another programme. An interpreter in a court case would cost in excess of over 10 grand. Is that £10,000? Thank you very much indeed for that. John, I think we should be like Spain. Should have a certain amount of money to get in and learn the language. I think you're right. I tell you one thing, in Spain, my mate was had terrible stomach cancer. He lived in Tenerife most of his life. He could speak Spanish, but in Spain, they have a different thing where they'll nurse you and look after you and the doctors and all that. But the actual caring, feeding you and wiping your ass and all that, the family are expected to do. And they don't have translators either. If you want to translate, you pay for it. Well, I think that's fair. I personally think that's reasonable. You may disagree. Right, I've more or less finished. Anybody else want to make any comments? I just want to see whether I've missed anything out. So where are we going to go from here? How should Nigel Farage react to this? Does it in any way? Do you see where they won that council election? 61% or something. He's a shoo-in, isn't he? He's definitely going to be the next Prime Minister unless something comes out of the woodwork. So the questions I want you to think about. Will us Brits accept paying thousands to people who arrived here illegally? Does that encourage or discourage crossings? I think I know the answer to that. And why aren't we focusing the government on fast removals first? That's the bit I didn't understand. If you still want to make a comment, you've got a few minutes. Why didn't she start off talking about, because she said basically it's out of control. Starmer says that in his intro. It's like, oh, thank you, Einstein. Pity you didn't realise that 18 months ago, you absolute cretin. But he says, it's out of control. We've lost control of our borders, etc., etc. Well, wouldn't you start from that point? So I'm not going to let any more in. That's not where they start from, though. Anyway, so the small boat numbers are continuing. The returns are minimal. And I just think public confidence is at an all-time low when it comes to our safety. And my final point to ask you tonight is Labour reacting to pressure from people like Nigel and people, like, I guess, like Kemi Badenoch, rather than showing true leadership? Is this government out of time? Is it too late now to regain trust? Like I was saying earlier, it feels like the last desperate throw of the dice by Starmer. Is that what you think? So are these measures that she came out with today a sign of strength or a sign of panic? Panic on the streets of Birmingham. Well, what a great song that is. Morrissey. Ask yourself this. Do these measures go far enough? Are they too tough, not tough enough? And what do you think about the MPs on the Labour benches who are going to vote against it? That was a great line. Kemi Badenoch said, look, let's work together. She said, you're going to need my party to give you votes, judging by the amount of people in your party who disagree with you. I just thought that was brilliant. What about you? So that's it. That's it, really. I just think we're still in a bad position. At least it's now right on the agenda. Yeah? Right on the agenda. And maybe now people will stop saying, you're racist if you dare to bring up small boats. Let's not hold out too much hope for that. Thank you, Maggie. Maggie Young's just sent me 5 claps and a sky blue heart. Thank you. It means I can end the show in a moment. Thank you for that, my friend. If you want to contact me when I'm not on air, don't forget, all you do now, the easiest way to do it, if you've subscribed, which costs no money, to Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube, you can go on there and send me messages. And I see them and I react to them. And then we've had some pretty good conversations on there then after the show. So please do that. Subscribe. Tell all your mates to subscribe. We're nearly at 6,000 subscribers, which is incredible. And we're going to hit 2 million views in the next few days. All of this would not have been possible without your support and you telling people. And I think what we're producing is pretty damn good. I think it stands up, against your national radio stations. I really do. And that's down to your contributions as well. So thank you. Jackie Ward, there, she's given me the 3 red hearts. So that's very good. I remember, John, UB40 is 1 in 10. That's us now, isn't it? That's a brilliant comment. Thank you very much indeed. And Craig Marson says, thank you, John. Hope you and your family are going to be okay after the budget. Well, I'm skint anyway, mate. So don't really matter to me at the moment. So, but if you want to stop me having to solve the big issue, send me a $5 or a $10 or a few quid. Just simply go click that little $sign, or alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. Right, that's me done. I'm off to see EastEnders. Fabulous audience reaction tonight. Thank you very much. I like that UB40 song idea. They were a great band. They split up. They had a big tantrum, didn't they? And then loads of them died. Like the Specials. Specials were brilliant. Then they broke up. They could have been humongous. And then they got back together again, but without Jerry. Never made sense to me. Anyway, sorry, I'm digressing. Right, I'm off. I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30. Hope you can join me then. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Hey. Don't forget to tell them that you love them. Bye.